So again, with the NE6 homeworks, I want to encourage you, work new problems. Oh my gosh, Marley, your hair is fantastic. Yours is good too. I don't want to like yours is taller. I'm on the fence about this, but I think we're going to start doing this second semester here as the content gets harder. I have the ability to post and or just show when you guys walk into class the answers from your homework. So yeah, and really I care more about you guys engaging with the work than I care about you getting exact right answers. But you guys use Schoology for your other classes, right? So if I were to make, like, if I were to over Christmas or over winter break, make a folder with like all of just the answers, like it'd probably just be like an image screenshot or like a copy, or it might even be like a Google Doc, like a running doc of the answers. Like here's all the chapter 9 answers, here's all the chapter 10 answers. Like, would you use that and check answers? Yeah. I mean, I don't care specifically about right answers. I got plenty of wrong answers even through college. It's about engaging with the work. But sometimes when I was in college, I'd look up a problem, find the answer, and then be able to solve it. So I'm like, oh, I understand what they're looking for now. Yeah. So I'm thinking as we get back into the CC3 book, and actually we're going to be in CC2 till after break. By the way, where's Connor? Our new books should be arriving today. So I will not give them out until after break. But reminder, we need all of your books to come back. We want to shoot for them to come back by this week, Thursday. Because, I don't know, during my plan period, I think I'm going to count and organize today. I would like to tell you at Forum on Friday if we've made it or not. And if not, we still have until next Wednesday. But if we've already made it as of this Friday, awesome. But then we're going to kind of change up how books work and everything else. What's up? You can just leave it at the back. Or like, you were leaving my class. Go to your next class. Thank you very much. But yeah, somebody lost a water bottle. I'm going to keep track of your stuff. But I'm guessing that's actually from the last class. Guys, 12 of us sitting in this room are not mastered. That's majority. 12. Okay. Which means the probability says that's you. If we just go straight up on probability, there's a greater chance you're not mastered than you are. Now, you can check math and know if you are. But in this room, there are more non-mastered students than mastered. Let's fix that, please. And I forgot to hand back papers in my last class, but I need to hand back papers in here today. So once we do some of the lesson, please make sure I hand back papers. That's not our lesson. We are in CC2. That is integrated to you. That's some fun stuff. And you're going to need a worksheet. So, anybody want to pass out worksheets? I have to find where I put them.
I'm totally good at passing.
Give me 2 people. Whoever gets up here. Yes. Make sure everyone has one. No, okay, not 2 people.
Oh, yeah.
Because then I'm going to start passing back some of these papers. All right. I might actually turn this music back on while we're like just solving problems. For what it's worth, Vince Guaraldi is the guy who wrote all the piano stuff for Charlie Brown. So if you're looking for a really nice chill album to put on over winter break, you can look up Vince Guaraldi, and I can put that on a post-it note or something if you need to know how to spell it. Yeah, he's a great piano player. Today we're diving into area of circles. And actually, I know I just said I'm going to pass these back, but I'm going to put it there so I can't sit down until I pass them back. Anyone want to read? Because I've been feeling bad. Sometimes we breeze over this intro paragraph, and it's actually got really good like historical information and like background info. So please help me kind of slow down a little bit. I'm trying to be a bit more strategic with what we're doing. Really, I need 10 extra minutes of class is what it comes down to. I would love 10 extra minutes, and then we could do everything. But George, do you want to go ahead and read for us just this entire paragraph?
Sure. The ratio known as pi, pronounced pi, was first discovered by the Babylonians nearly 4,000 years ago.
Mathematicians.
Mathematicians also found the constant ratio between the circumference and diameter of a circle by using the Greek letter pi has been used to present the ratio since the 1700s. When it was made popular by the Swiss
mathematician Euler.
I can't.
So, Euler, in case you're everyone who wants to win a million, whatever that show is, Euler's one of the main circle mathematicians dudes. He essentially like coined pi. So that's his name's Euler, but it's written E-U-L-E-R. All right, so last sentence.
Okay. Even though this ratio has been known for many years, the value commonly used for pi is still only an approximation.
Now that's the crazy thing. We can't say, and this is funny because people will say use exact pi. There is no exact pi. It's still going. So I don't think I've talked about this in here yet. At Otterbein, there are labs of computers, just like we have computer labs here. Because like not every college kid can afford their own laptop or whatever. So especially if you have your own computer, you should definitely show appreciation to your parents. But when those computers go into sleep mode, which if nobody's using them, they log off. In the background, it launches this program, and universities all across, probably I think the world are part of this. It is continuing to compute digits of pi. There's a background because Otterbein joined like this cohort thing where people are like, hey, we need computing power. So it's like they put all these computers remotely kind of connected together, and they just keep computing digits of pi. And there's something like, if you were to print out the digits of pi in 12-point font with 1-inch margins, like there's all this stuff about pi, but it's like thousands of pages. Because how many digits of pi we know. But the division is still going. It's like long division that never ends. So if you know the song, it's like, this is the song that never. That's pi. Pi is the division. Pi is the long division that never ends, at least what we've seen so far. We're millions of places into it. And it's not ended yet. So, based off math, we can assume it's never going to end. So on this resource page that you have, the first thing I want you guys to do is by counting boxes and approximating partial boxes, what is the area of this circle? And we could notate some other things. So like if this was me, because I don't like partials, I would probably first like look at this as a rectangle. Now you can do whatever method you want, but if I was trying to do this, and then like I almost see a square out here, or I actually see like another whole rectangle there, another whole rectangle here. So I would just do my like total boxes first, and then deal with your partials. So take a moment, and then compare with your teammates. Count boxes. What's the area of that circle? You don't need everything I wrote up there. I just wrote some random like stuff you know about the circle. We don't care about the circumference here. We don't. I just put it up there just as a reminder. We know crust is pi dough. Especially since my diameter is 10, that would be easy to do here. My circumference, if we cared, would be 31.4-ish. But we don't care about that here. I just want to reinforce that. Anyone have class with Micah Jasinski? No.
No.
Well, or if you see him, one of his friends, Noah, says hi. He was at the rock wall climbing last night. By the way, dose of reality. Last night when I got home from work, I had to sledgehammer ice out of the curve of my house because my sump pump was all frozen up. So that was my first task. What, did you see me?
Yeah.
That's funny. Mallory lives right down the street from me. Then I had to be at the rock wall by 5:40 because I worked last night. Then I had to leave the rock wall early to go tutor somebody, and I got home at about 9:15. Then I graded papers.
Oh, you had a great day.
That's life. So sometimes, like, I know some of you guys are getting stressed out at the end of the quarter, and like, sometimes you just gotta just grit your teeth and like do what you gotta do.
I gotta think. I'm so happy.
You gotta think. Compare what you got with your teammates. What do you have approximately?
What'd you get?
I got 70.
There can only be one.
Actually, I got 69.
I got 60.
I got 79.
Oh, I forgot.
This whole part right here, this part is full squares is 60.
I can say that. I don't think you're supposed to do anything else.
All right, can anyone help me if I just do all of my complete squares? Can anyone help me with that first? If I just look at my total squares.
24.
What do you got?
What?
So all of my total squares. Now, if so, somebody said in the middle. If I just look here, that is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 by 8 is what? 48. But then up here, I have another 6 total squares and another 6 total squares. So I have 48, then I have 6, then I have 6, and then I have to deal with these partials.
Very careful.
Right? So, yeah, this is kind of annoying. So, these, I would count this as almost 2. Like, that's pretty darn close. And then, what if I put this one with this one? Like, if I grab this wedge and I stick it on top of here, can that pretty much be approximated to 1?
Sure.
So if I have 1 here, and 2 here, I got 4 more. And I do that at each of the, so like 4 over here. Now over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 down here, but then I still have this wedge.
I would say that's 0.5.
And you'd say those are halves, so maybe another 1. So plus another 4, plus another 4, plus another 1,
Plus another 4.
plus another, this I think is a 4 set, just with how we broke things up.
And then the other corner.
And then the other, yeah, and then
68.
So,
plus 1. Missing a 1.
so this is tough, right?
Pish posh.
I don't know what you mean by pish posh, but I know like posh spice.
Posh. I love the spice.
I love that you know who I'm talking about. Just make sure you don't go chasing waterfalls. Alright, so if we put a square around this box, or if we put a box around this circle, do that. Or if we put a box in this circle, we can use the radius to help us figure this stuff out. If we know that the radius of our circle is 5, then what would this edge be? So work through 23A and B to figure out the areas of those squares, and then see if you can use that to help you estimate the circle. Radius is from the middle out. So yes, like half the width of the circle.
Wait,
So diameter, so I hear people asking, so we need to review this. Diameter is all the way across. Diameter. Radius is half of the way across, which means from the middle out. Now B, you gotta get a little creative. Because 5 is not the edge of the square, and it's not 10, because we know that the A was 10. So take a moment. I want to see who can solve this. My advice is break it up.
oh wait. Who is
Breaking up is hard to do. Hey guys, the noises and the just random chatter, that tells me you don't want to engage your brain in math. That shouldn't be what I get from this class. So you just make them big triangles? I like that. There's another method. Analyze, is there another way you can do it? Can you actually make squares and solve it another way? Looking at what I put on the board might help you, Mike. When people leave stuff in my room, I gotta have somewhere to put it. They're the same. All three of these circles are the same size circle. So, Micah, what'd you do to figure this out?
I took like the blue triangle and connected it with the red triangle to make a big square.
Oh.
Now, actually, when I walked around and saw, like, you can calculate the area of a triangle if you want. Base times height times a half. Right? So if I kind of turn this in my brain, my base would be 10, my height would be 5, and I can get 50. Right? And then half of that, 25. Now, I got another way. And I think this is what Micah did, but he maybe just showed it like in his brain. And I can't rotate things. So if I grab my green triangle and bring it down and connect it to my blue, and if I grab my purple triangle and connect it with my red, I've made two squares or a rectangle. Right? Visually, I can see I just drug these things across the. I didn't change anything. I just rearranged, kind of like commutative property. What would this be? 5. What would this be? 10. So 50. And over here, we found an area of the square of 100. So if we want to approximate and say, well, the square surrounding the circle was 100. The square in the circle was 50. The square should be somewhere between. Our approximation might be 75, right? So approximately, we're going to say, yeah, we think this is close to 75. Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Sure.
Scare you? I don't know about scare, but... All right. By the way, anyone watching the video, it's hat day. I have a circle.
Do that again. That was so
Right? Look, I have a circle.
Oh no.
Now, this circle is a pizza. Bless you. Now, unfortunately, the pizza place ordered rectangular boxes, which doesn't really work with the circular pizza. Now, fortunately, some young intern dude was like, if I put one slice up and one slice down, anyone ever put away leftovers? You got one triangle pointing one way and the other triangle pointing the other way? So this kid was like, we can make a circle into a rectangle. And his boss is like, you're out of control. What do you mean make a circle into a rectangle? Even if I cut up a circle, I don't even get triangles. I get little wedges that are round on the end. And he says, well, okay, I don't mean like an exact rectangle, but pretty darn close. His boss still doesn't believe him. So he says, all right, well, dude, we cut our large pizza into 8 slices, and I lay all the slices out. Now wait, you think that's satisfying? Then, if I stack them going opposite directions, now, so his boss is like, okay, smarty pants, that still isn't a rectangle. What shape is this pretty close to? Parallelogram, right? So this young pizza shop worker says, well, if you want to make it closer to a rectangle, there's just one thing we need to do.
Off the end. Wait, no, you have to take half one of the pieces and put it on the other end.
What?
Oh, wait. Oh, no.
What if I instead cut my pizza into, instead of 8 slices, what if we do 16? And then, what if instead of 16,
Do it all the way.
Put it all the way up. All the way up.
What's a piece of pizza that thin?
That's not good. I hate that pizza.
Ooh.
That is so
Any
good.
monster.
Oh my god. That looks like two.
You monster.
Now, hold up. So finally, the boss is like, okay, you got me. It's kind of it looks like a rectangle now, right? Now hold up. This distance on this side of the rectangle comes from, what is this? The radius. On your paper, draw a sketch of a rectangle. And then label it circle. So we're going to do, do this. Now somebody's going to screenshot this and put it out on the internet and be like, look at this math teacher. He has no idea what's going on. Circle. Now this we just said is the radius. Now hold up. If I take this back to 8 slices and I lay it out, what is the total distance around a circle? Circumference. And we find the circumference by doing what? Crust is pi dough, right? Now, the thing is, our rectangle isn't the entire circumference long. Our rectangle is how much of the circumference long? It's half of it, right? So hang on. If the circumference, don't write anything yet. If the circumference is pi times diameter, or pi times 2 times r, because radius times 2 is your diameter. If I want to cut this in half, just get rid of the 2. So this is actually pi times the radius, long. So we rearrange our pizza slices, our infinitely many pizza slices, right? We have 200 slices, and make it into a rectangle. That rectangle is pi times the radius times radius. This leads us to the area. Because over here, we can now say the area of this rectangle, length times width, right? It's radius times pi times radius.
What? Pi times radius squared.
So the area is pi times the radius squared, because remember, radius squared just means radius times radius. I have radius times radius, and then I got a pi left over. This is your area formula for any circle. And the proof, we don't want you just memorizing stuff. The proof is that if I slice it all up, I can rearrange it into a rectangle and actually like box it differently, right? If it's actually a pizza, I can box it differently. So go back to the circle from your paper, and you might need a calculator. Figure out what your actual area there is. They're all the same. They're all the same circle. It's a circle with radius of 5.
I asked my mom for one of those cool calculators. The blank area part of this circle. I was sad. That's what I wanted for Christmas. Mom, can I get a calculator? You're a nerd.
I heard Mr. Hudson.
I did a thing.
No, I said, I asked my mom if I could get one of those cool calculators on display. Like, yeah. And she said I'm a nerd.
You'll probably need one in high school. But really, Desmos does a pretty good job of like just replacing it.
I wanted the mint green.
I have rectangles that can be used as a really cool background for a landscape. How you go down for a calculator?
I would pay to watch Mr. Hudson could become a millionaire on YouTube by posting his ASMR videos.
I do not believe, well, not believe, that's the wrong word. I do not, I don't really get into the whole ASMR. I don't know. It's,
I'm gonna
It's
do
gonna get
ASMR.
like 1,000 views because it's in a circle.
Yeah.
you want to make like ASMR math videos?
You should do that one day. That should be one of our spirit days.
I'm gonna whisper math formulas in you.
Whisper.
All right, bring it back. So on your paper, we had a radius of 5, right? On your worksheet, we had a radius of 5. So if we go to do that area and we write out the formula, pi times radius squared, well, what is 5 squared?
25.
You're good. Yeah. So we get 25 times pi. Now, yesterday we were talking about how we can say pi is approximately 3, which is right. And if we use the approximately 3, we get 75. But if we use the actual pi, not exact, but actual, what do we get here? 70, Mike, did you calculate?
78.54.
I was so
I rounded it.
Now,
I rounded it.
then, there are 2 different ways to talk about area of a circle. Okay? Again, I want to make your life easier. There are times when we ask you to leave it in terms of pi, which means because we don't actually know what pi is. Some people don't like using 3.14. Some people don't even like using 3.141594. They're just like, you know what? Just use pi, the symbol, and they would say this is your area. So this is in terms of pi. And if you want to get it on your calculator in decimal form, you might need to go change your mode. Sorry, my beanie's making my ears You have to go to classic. So you hit this button, mode, right next to your second, and then go down. You should really have every left option highlighted. Really is the easiest settings for that calculator. Every left option. So hang on. If I instead here give you a triangle with radius of 12, and I ask you to leave it in terms of pi, what would be your area? Take a moment. Don't just shout it out. Ooh, some of you are falling into the trap.
It's a trap.
Quinn? In terms of pi.
Pi?
In terms of pi. If I ask you for the pi terms area.
122. Wait, no. 12 times 12 is 144. 100.
12 times 12.
144 times pi.
That's what I did.
Then, if we ask for it in decimal form, 400. What did we get?
452.39.
So, this is always going to need to be rounded because of pi. Right? If you're using the pi button, you're always going to have to round. Now, if you use 3.14, you've already rounded. That rounding should be done. And really, that's what we're covering today. The last thing to look at is if they give you funky problems like the Pac-Man ghost. At least that's the closest thing I can think of. Who can tell me how to deal with this problem? Take a moment, talk with your team,
How should you do it?
figure out the area of this shape. Talk with your team. It's really not very hard. Guys, math is 100% up to date as of what you turned in yesterday. So unless you put things in my bin, and actually I graded stuff this morning too, so I think I caught some things that came in this morning. If something's in math and you think you've already taken care of it, you need to come see me. Because math is up to date as of what I know and have graded. And like over and over, I have students come in and tell me, I turned that in, and then we check their binder and we find it. It's 7th grade, it's okay, but if I bet you it doesn't cookies,
You didn't talk to her.
that's normally my bet. If I find it in your binder and you are standing here telling me you turned it in, you owe me a dozen cookies.
You can buy them at Kroger for like $2. Or you can get this.
Right over there, right behind my chair, that little black thing that pulls out of the drawer, it's got Band-Aids right in there.
Okay. Because I took my Band-Aid off of there.
Yeah. You can take a couple if you want backups.
Yeah, I'll check some backup.
Who can tell me how we deal with this problem? Because then we're just going to work on homework. George, what do you got?
So find the radius of the circle first, and then, well, actually,
But that's not a circle, George.
I know, but you can make it into a circle.
How's that?
By the two bottom pieces, you flip them around, so it makes into it makes it into a circle. It's a fourth of a circle.
If I swap these places, that's all they've done. They cut the circle in half and they switched around the bottoms to make it look like a cool little ghost as opposed to a circle. So this is still a circle. So area, if we talk in terms of pi, 36.5. Right? Be careful. The biggest mistake kids make on this, they double the radius instead of square. Be careful. So you got to multiply it by itself, not double it. Dive into homework. You got the next 8 minutes to get ahead on your homework.
I will put it in order this time.
And or turn stuff in. And or turn stuff in, please. You never gave yourself a self-grade. Micah, you never gave yourself a self-grade. Yeah. Chloe, you never gave yourself a self-grade. Octavia, you never gave yourself a self-grade.
I did. I remember. I came up there and I didn't give myself a grade.
Oh,
Yeah,
George.
Joe.
Brayden did.
Yes.
Marley did.
I think Marley didn't.
Olivia did.
I laughed.
Can I do that you right now?
Very funny.
Yeah, like right below where I wrote that. I don't get.
Yeah, mine's on the
I just
top.
need to know what you
I
think
made
you deserve at
silly
this point.
mistakes, so.
Who will win? Mr. Wilson or Mr. Wilson? I bet I have my money on Mr. Wilson.
Freaking thing.
Oh, let me check my planner.
It is the
You're just
song
trying to work
that.
that out.
Mr. Hudson, would you like a more steak for Christmas?
No, I'm okay. I have a couple now. Yeah, so 913 will be 45 to 50 if you're trying to work ahead, which I think is just the whole set. And then by my plan, we'll be doing 921 on Thursday, 922 on Friday. I'm debating what to do about homework though, because I don't love assigning weekend homework. And honestly, I may not do another homework. Well, I'm going to do a homework collection next week, just to also have a Q3 homework grade. But I don't know that I'll collect Friday's homework, like that lesson. So next week, the homeworks you'll probably be asked to turn in are 911, 912, 913, and then 921. And we'll collect those next week on like Monday or Tuesday.
So 911, 912, 913,
The first 4 homeworks, yeah, first 4 lessons.
Did you say I'm calling your weed?
No, I was